Brett, I want to talk about incels.
What's up?
And I want to ask, before we get into the details, because I read this really fascinating article on The Cut about incels' psychological and surgical attempts to fix what they see to be their problems. How often do you think about incels?
I don't very frequently think about incels, only when one does mass murdery things.
Yeah, which I feel like there's been a little bit of time since that, which is good. But that's what's so interesting is that I don't, generally it's a reactive sort of thing. They get in the news, we talk about them, but the interesting gap is that they are thinking about it nonstop. Like it is an identity that is core to some people, and there's these online communities and things like that. We've talked about it before. Just in case you have gotten this far without knowing what an incel is, it's someone who is involuntarily celibate in their own mind, at the very least. And so let's talk about what The Cut found in their research of some of these online communities, and then also what some of the individuals are doing to become more attractive so that they feel like they have a chance of getting a mate or something like that. So they described this first, that showered with attention, this is their views of women expressed on some of these places. Again, we're not talking about every individual or every forum, but this is the basic idea. Showered with attention on dating apps, favored by divorce courts, beloved by HR diversity initiatives, women had become a privileged class. The forums rarely mentioned wage gaps, pregnancy discrimination, or sexual violence, except in jest. And again, there's a range of these forums. Some have, there was one on, I think it might have been /r/incel on Reddit that was actually shut down because they were so frequently talking about wanting to commit acts of violence. That's the thing, you have sort of two parts to this. You have the recognition of these individuals that they are too unattractive to ever find someone who will be intimate with them. And then the lashing out against that society of starting to hate the women that they feel are rejecting them, feeling like some sort of violence might be a solution. And that is how you get some of the mass murderers that have stood out from the community.
Yeah, it's go get therapy. You have to go get therapy. This is not a healthy thing to do. There are a lot of people who go through these kinds of identity issues and face adversity and perceived adversity. Just go get therapy that way. You've got to, along the way, realize that this is not healthy behavior, specifically in these forums. For me, it always fascinates me, like the forums that they get into, they start echoing this like, yeah, Chads suck, women, they don't love us the way they should because we deserve it, man. And I'm ugly, I'm so ugly, I'm so ugly. There's another forum called just General Pop Culture that has said the absolute opposite, which has said, listen, Kevin James is gonna sleep with some hot women. And then it shows women how hot they have to be to land a stallion like Kevin James. Like that is the forum we're all in, and all women are in.
Yes. So I'm glad that you brought up the forums, because the issue, I think, is the solution could well be therapy. But the thing is, these forums have an ideology and they reinforce for each other that no, that's not the solution. We are talking about biological truths. There's no, Freud is not going to help you if science is saying you're too unattractive to ever get anyone. But let's get into that a little bit, because you mentioned Chads. I want to define a few of these things. In forum posts, incels classified Chads, these are the men who are attractive enough to ever get a person to sleep with them. By phenotype, they have a Celtic, Nordid, gracile, Mediterranean. I'm not even sure what that's a reference to. Mediterranean. And style, you could be a jock, a lumberjack, a vampire, a pretty boy. They repost science, so this is the thing where we get into their curiosity. They repost scientific research on the importance of symmetry and harmony and universal standards of beauty. They discuss the golden mask, a platonic ideal of a face designed by a California surgeon using the ratio of phi. That doesn't look like pi, but in any event, they believe that they have found sort of scientific truths that have defined their existence.
So great.
So now let's talk about the solutions.
Before you do that, I just want to say the variety in archetype of pretty person, there is so much variety that it undercuts your core argument. There's
jocks,
if
you could be a lumberjack.
Lumberjacks, vampires, pretty boys. You're talking about all these different types of people who vary from like athletic, sweaty dude to like earthy guy of the forest to non-human pallid specter man to pretty boy, which is feminine opposite of lumberjack.
Yeah. So you could be all of these different things.
Find your thing. Somewhere in between is just you being you and people like that more than if they found out you were on these things complaining about life.
Well, I want to talk about a couple of things that have been pursued to fix these problems, not therapy. So one individual that's profiled in this cut piece, which you should read, is Truth for Lies. Truth for Lies friends hated Chad, but they were also convinced their lives would improve significantly if they could somehow become Chad. So they tried gym selling and steroid maxing. That's incel speak for bodybuilding and taking steroids. If you want to work out, I think that's a great idea. I would take the steroids.
I do this next one.
They tried jelking, that's penis stretching exercises, and mewing, chewing hard foods to bulk up the masseter muscles, said by British orthodontist Mike Mew to augment the jawline. They tried pulling on their faces to reshape them. They got into skincare. Again, if you want to moisturize, I think that's a perfectly good idea. I just feel that it's very different from the other stuff.
You're an incel, dude.
And by the way, okay, let's talk about surgery though, because that's where the article really gets interesting.
Were you gonna say penis stretching a second ago?
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're getting into penis stretching, like at that point,
don't.
They're in bed with you. Like, I would just relax a little bit. Anyway, so one cosmetic surgeon's range of services includes shoulder widening and narrowing. The clavicle bones are broken, then reconstructed. Deltoid and quadriceps implants and rib removal. Some 10,000 blog posts on his website respond pragmatically to patients' queries. Do neck muscle implants exist? They could. Can my face be changed to look a lot like someone else? Perhaps. Am I too old for skull reshaping at 57? He's had patients who are over 70. What is the maximum size of testicular enlargement implants? The largest he's done is 7 centimeters in diameter. And they do that by taking out the testicles, wrapping them in like a donut-like gummy implant to double their size.
I know some
guys. That's not the solution to your problem.
I know some guys with giant testicles, and it just makes your wiener look smaller.
Well, that's what the jelking is for.
You got to jelk and get the testicular implants.
Yeah, and so look, to some extent, we're joking, and look, I feel uncomfortable. I'm the bleeding heart, progressive, whatever. I feel bad because these people don't have physical problems, really.
You don't.
What they have are mental health problems. They have body dysmorphia and things like that. And the issue, and where we get into the dangerous part, is this article largely, I believe, could present a sort of sad image of these people where you feel bad for them. But the thing is, when that is coupled with violent misogyny, you not actually addressing your problems becomes an issue not just for you, but for other individuals.
So like a lot of people in society have body dysmorphia, and a lot of times it leads to people wanting to take control of it. And then I've read and talked to people who have eating disorders, and psychologists who explain why that happens, is it's an attempt to take control. The problem is if it happens in men do have eating disorders. It's very real. It happens a lot, body dysmorphia.
It's more common now.
But another thing that men do in order to control stuff is turn to violence. And that's where this gets really, really terrible. And I don't think the solution is to be like, yo, it's me, Chad. I think Brett is one of the terms. But it's me, Chad, you wuss bag, sack up and run your game. Like that doesn't help. I think the answer is to say, I don't have the answers for you, but I think a suggestion might be your support group, your lookism support group is not a support group.
No.
You need to find an actual support group or therapy because listen, there are many solutions to this perceived problem you have. One of them is to look at the problem a different way, and someone who's not on lookism.com, half of which are probably people who are trolling you into getting surgery, irreparable, unreversible surgery. Those people aren't supporting you. They're just trolls. So you need to turn to someone that is licensed to be of aid to you in this.
Exactly. They're not. Those groups are not designed to push a person up into the light. They're like the bodies in the swamp in Lord of the Rings. They're just trying to drag you deeper down with them. The solutions are going to be living a positive life, pursue your interests, meet people, and engage with them in an honest, non-violent, non-inherently suspicious and hateful way. That's the solution. It's difficult to do for some people by themselves, but there are actual honest support groups, including therapists, who can help you to do that. But just like compressing yourself into a diamond of hatred and anger towards society is not the solution to literally any problem.
Yeah, just have completely unearned confidence. It's worked for me.
Exactly. Exactly. Make sketches, okay? It sort of helps.
Thanks for watching this free clip of the Young Turks. Don't forget to become a TYT member today. For more exclusive content, join now at tyt.com/join.